Okay, so I'm going to come up and create a new file, and I want to change this to inches, and I want to make it 7 inches by 7 inches at 200 dpi, and I'm going to click OK. Then I want to fill it with black, in this case, which is Command Delete because it's the background color. I could be Option Delete if I wanted to fill the foreground. And then at 3.5 by 3.5, I want to create a guide, and you can see what I was really trying to do is create this grid system, because this grid system is so that I can make sure. That's why I've got a full grid. That's why I was at the height, the size I was at. That's why I was at 7 inches by 7 inches at 200 dpi, so I could get this to be perfectly square. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to grab the rectangle tool. I'm going to make sure I've got it filled with white, and I'm going to drag out a rectangle, or square I should say. It's a perfect square. Once I've got that squared away, I'm going to grab the path selection tool down here, because this is a path, and I want to make sure it's lined up right, and that looks pretty good. No, it's a little off. There we go. That looks pretty good. Then I'm going to hold down the Option and the Shift key, and what I'm doing is making a copy of it, but at the same time constraining it so that it only moves up and down. Notice it didn't move side to side. Then we're still with the path selection tool selected. I'm actually going to select both of those objects to make sure that I have them both. And then I've got to use some modifier keys to kind of change the way that's working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the Command Option T. And what that's going to do is give me this control. And what happens with this control is if I just drag it around, you can see I've got different angles. But if I hold down the Shift modifier, you can see I can constrain it to 15-degree angles. So I'm actually going to bring it out to 30 degrees. I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to hit Enter. And so now that I've got that in there, you can see that I've got that all squared away. Now here's where kind of the trick really comes in. I'm going to hit Command Option Shift T, and notice that what that's done is just made a copy of it, but it's still in this area. I'm going to do it again, again, and again, and you can see quite rapidly by doing that, what I've done is I've actually made a complete circle with everything proportionate to it. So with that same path selection tool going, I can then grab all of them and hit Command Option Shift T again, and then I didn't want to do that. I can grab, that's not what I wanted to do. I want the Command Option T, there we go. I don't know what I was doing, and I can actually drag this so that I've created it. Now I'm going to undo that quickly so that I can hold down the Shift key so that I can move it in 15-degree increments, and that's what I just did. Then what I can do is I can bring that in a little bit more into inside if I'd like, and maybe I want it to be a little bit more like that. And now I've added that. Sorry, I'm going to bring that in. I moved it, didn't bring it in, you goofball. So I want to shrink it down in size and then make sure that I'm on the center point. So I want to make sure that I'm on the center point. Looks good. And I'm going to hit Enter, and then I can hit Command Shift Option T, and I can keep copying that and keep copying that and keep copying that and keep copying that and keep copying that until I've gone all the way back into space and essentially created this kind of wacky design. Then when I do that, I can actually come in and I can grab this again and bring it out. I'm holding down the Shift key, and if I hold down the Option key, I'm dragging from the center, and now I've actually expanded it out to my area, if you will. Let me go back here. I'm gonna go back. I'm just gonna come in and don't apply. I don't know what I did there. And I can then just come in this whole area with my path selection tool. That's what I need. And then I can just kind of hold the shift key down and the option key down and bring it and drag it out. And I can kind of create this kind of goofy kind of shape, which is kind of fun and kind of cool. I hit enter, and now I've got that selected. I can grab that layer and I could kind of bring that opacity down if I wanted to kind of create a very interesting kind of effect. Then I can go to my background layer, grab my brain freeze gradient tool, and go to black to white. So I can go to my black to white gradient. And what I really kind of want to do here is I can set that opacity to say 50% and foreground to transparent is what I want to do. So foreground to transparent, and I can actually kind of drag that image out and create that kind of effect so that I've got that kind of glow going on that background. I can come back into my background layer here, and I could add an adjustment layer. So I could come in and I'm going to grab my adjustment layers. It's hidden, so let me open up my adjustments. So I could open up my adjustment layer, and I could do a simple hue and saturation. And then actually I want it to be down here. I want it to be on the background. And so I can do the hue and saturation. I can hit colorize, and you can see I can actually add some color to this and change kind of the way it's looking. Again, I want to go more to the bluish, but I want to go to the deeper, darker blue and maybe brighten it up a little bit and change it around a little bit. And I've got that all squared away and kind of where I want. And then the last thing that I want to do is I can come over and grab my selection here and come back over to this area and paste. Maybe I can. So it's easier for me to go to arrange two up, and then I can just grab him and drag him into there. And you can see because he's a different size image, I can minimize him here. Don't need him here anymore. Because he's a different sized image, he's going to have a different kind of effect because of this is now a different resolution. So you can see how small he comes in. And so therefore what I can then do is just kind of put him down in place in the corner, and I've got this kind of wacky crazy thing going on, and it creates a very interesting effect.